You spent serious money on your TV, but when you finally turned it on, the picture looked flat, gray, and nothing like what you expected. Before you blame the movie or the TV itself, the truth is your settings are likely holding back the real performance from day one. In this video, we'll unlock the hidden picture settings that can instantly transform your TV into a deep, cinematic experience with real contrast and clarity. If this video helps you avoid overpaying, make sure to like and subscribe for more honest TV breakdowns. And comment below, do you watch TV in a bright room or a dark cinema setup? That one detail changes everything. The picture mode trap, your first and most important decision. Let's start with the setting that quietly ruins more TVs than anything else. Picture mode. Walk into any TV store, and almost every screen is screaming at you with vivid, standard, or dynamic. And yeah, it grabs your attention fast. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Those modes are designed to sell TVs, not to show you a real picture. When you switch into vivid or dynamic, the TV is basically going into overdrive. Colors get pushed way beyond natural limits, sharpness gets artificially boosted, and brightness is cranked up to a level that looks impressive under harsh store lighting. But that wow effect comes at a cost. Fine details start disappearing, skin tones look unnatural, and everything takes on that slightly fake, processed look that never feels like real life. And the biggest issue? Contrast gets destroyed. To make the image pop, these modes raise overall brightness and crush the subtle differences between dark and light areas. Blacks stop being true black and turn into a gray haze. That cinematic depth you're supposed to get? Gone in seconds. Now here's the fix, and it's the easiest upgrade you'll ever make. Go into your settings and find Picture Mode. You're looking for Movie, Cinema, or ideally, Filmmaker Mode. The moment you switch to one of these, the entire image will probably look different. Warmer, softer, maybe even a bit dull at first. Don't panic. That's your eyes adjusting to accuracy, not artificial hype. Filmmaker Mode is especially powerful because it's designed with input from studios and directors. It shuts off most unnecessary processing like motion smoothing and fake sharpening, letting you see the content as it was actually intended. Think of it as removing the TV's filter and finally seeing the real image underneath. The backlight and brightness misconception, the secret to inky blacks. Now, this is where most people accidentally sabotage their TV without even realizing it, because manufacturers made these settings confusing on purpose. Brightness and backlight do not do what most people think they do. Let's break it down simply. The brightness setting doesn't actually make the whole picture brighter. Instead, it controls your black level. That means it decides how dark the darkest parts of your image actually are. Set it too high, and your blacks turn gray and washed out. Set it too low, and you lose shadow detail completely. It's a balancing act, not a volume knob. Now backlight, or OLED light on OLED TVs, is the real power control. This is what actually increases or decreases the overall light output of the screen. Think of it as the engine that drives the entire picture brightness. This is the setting you adjust based on your room, not your mood. Here's the secret to real contrast. It's not about making things brighter, it's about making blacks deeper while keeping highlights controlled. If your blacks are even slightly lifted, your entire image loses depth. That 3D pop effect people talk about, it comes from separation between dark and light, not raw brightness. So here's how to dial it in properly. First, set brightness using a dark scene, something like space or a night shot. Adjust it until you can still see shadow detail, like folds in clothing, but blacks don't turn gray. That's your sweet spot. Don't push it higher thinking you'll see more. You'll just wash everything out. Now, adjust backlight depending on your environment. In a dark room, keep it lower for deeper blacks and more cinematic contrast. In a bright room, raise it to fight ambient light. That's it. Once you understand this separation, your TV suddenly starts behaving like a much more expensive display. The secret: contrast boosters, local dimming, and contrast enhancer. Now we're getting into the settings that actually separate good TVs from great ones. If picture mode and backlight are the foundation, local dimming is where modern LED and mini-LED TVs really come alive. Local dimming is only found on LCD-based TVs like LED, QLED, and mini-LED. The idea is simple but powerful. Instead of one uniform backlight, The TV splits the screen into zones that can dim or brighten independently. So in a scene with a bright object and a dark background, like a moon in the night sky, the TV can keep the moon bright while dimming everything around it. That's how you get deeper blacks without sacrificing brightness. When done right, it creates a dramatic sense of depth that makes images feel more three-dimensional. This is the closest LCD TVs get to OLED-style contrast. Now the key setting. Local dimming usually comes with low, medium, and high. In most cases, high gives you the best contrast and deepest blacks, especially for movies and HDR content. That's what you want for maximum impact. But there's a trade-off. Sometimes you'll notice blooming, where a faint glow appears around bright objects on dark backgrounds. If that bothers you, drop it to medium. But don't turn it off completely. That's basically killing your TV's contrast engine. Now for OLED users, things change. There's no backlight, so no local dimming. Each pixel controls itself. Instead, you might see Contrast Enhancer. This is a processing feature that tries to boost punch and brightness artificially. Be careful here. High settings often destroy detail by crushing shadows and blowing out highlights. The safe zone is low, or better yet, off if you want the purest image. OLED already has perfect contrast built in. It doesn't need help, it just needs less interference. The killers of contrast and detail. What to turn off. Immediately, now, we flip the script. Instead of turning things up, we're turning things off. Because a lot of TV enhancements are actually destroying your picture quality without you realizing it. First up, sharpness. This is one of the biggest traps in TV settings. It sounds like it adds detail, but it doesn't. All the real detail is already in your 4K content. What sharpness actually does is add artificial edges around objects, creating a fake outline effect. The result? Faces look harsh, textures look unnatural, and the whole image starts to feel digital and processed. In most cases, the correct setting is 0. On some brands, there's a neutral midpoint instead, but the goal is always the same. Remove artificial sharpening and let real detail speak for itself. Next is motion smoothing, also known as motion flow, true motion, or auto motion plus, depending on the brand. This setting tries to make motion look smoother by inserting fake frames between real ones. Sounds good in theory, but in practice, it destroys the cinematic feel of movies. Instead of 24 frames per second's film motion, you get that soap opera look, hyper smooth, unnatural, almost like a cheap video camera. Directors hate it for a reason. For movies and shows, the correct setting is off. Always. Then we have noise reduction and MPEG noise reduction. These were designed for old, low-quality broadcasts. The problem is, on modern 4K content, they don't know the difference between noise and real detail, so they start smudging everything. Fine textures get erased. Film grain disappears. The image starts looking soft and waxy. On good quality streaming or Blu-rays, both of these should be off. Only consider low if you're watching heavily compressed content. And even then, use it carefully. Final conclusion. At this point, your TV is no longer using factory shortcuts, it's actually showing you what it was built to do. You've corrected the picture mode, separated brightness from backlight, unlocked real contrast through local dimming, and removed the processing features that were quietly damaging your image. And the difference isn't subtle. You should be seeing deeper blacks, cleaner highlights, more natural colors, and a picture that finally feels cinematic instead of artificial. This is what your TV was capable of all along. You just had to take control of it. Now I want to hear from you. What TV are you using, and which of these changes made the biggest difference on your screen? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious which settings had the biggest impact for different brands. And if this helped you, subscribe for more real-world TV optimization tips and honest breakdowns that actually improve your viewing experience. Because the goal isn't just owning a good TV, it's actually seeing what it can really do.